Hi, we're live. It's finally happening. Whew. Well, welcome to the free online class. This is the very first class, and I'm calling it Class Zero because it's kind of we're just getting started here. Um, I'm excited to be here. I'm very in my head. I'm trying to ground, but it's just this is my very first live stream, so expect a few hiccups. So I'm Cassandra. If you don't know who I am, this is the free online tarot class, like I said, um, in Antonio, Texas. So where is everybody else? I see some people. Nobody's talking. And that's fine. I'm in San Antonio. I've been here for 9 years. My mom is born and raised San Antonio. I was not raised here. I was born and raised in the suburbs of Chicago and New York. Oh, we've got an Indiana person, Candace. Hi, Candace from Indiana. Yeah, I grew up outside of Chicago, the western suburbs. So it's cold up there right now. That's one thing I like about where I'm at now. Not super cold. Oh, we got a St. Louis person, a lot of Midwesterners. Midwesterners. Okay. All right. So we got a Virginia person. Awesome. Awesome. So this is cool. This is cool. I'm glad we could get together and do this. So I have a presentation that I'm going to give, and you can feel free to ask questions in the chat or whatever. I don't think I can see it during the presentation, but when I close it, I think I can see it. And so we can go over everything. I'm hoping this lasts an hour. We'll find out. We'll find out. So let me get the presentation up and try to share my screen. How do I even do that? I don't even know. Um, hmm, that's a good question. I know you can do it. People do it all the time. Good question. Good question. Sharing screen. Don't tell me I don't know how to do it. All right, I popped the chat out. That's not helping me. Oh my goodness, for goodness sakes. How the heck do you share your screen? I know you can do it. Let's see. No, I do not want to leave the site. I apologize. I don't know what's going on here. Gee whiz. Hey, Monica from Arkansas. I'm just trying to figure out how to share my screen right now. It's weird. Um, I'm going to Google it real quick here. So you do live stream share screen. Okay. Okay. I'm looking for a solution here. Oh my God, this thing is doing all these pop-ups. It's like, just let me read the answer. Okay, we did that. Oh my God. This is terrible. Terrible, terrible. See, I knew something like this was going to happen. Oh my God. Hang on just a second. Let me check one more article here. Mm. Oh my God. Golly, this is making it all complicated. Let me close this. Let me try to do this without it. Oh, thank you. Who loves the curtain? I think it's a little busy, but you know, but you know, what can you do? Okay, so what I wanted to do was go over some important links for you guys here. So, uh, you know, if you joined the class and you've signed up through the email, then you know that there's more of this class than just the YouTube live stream. We also have a private Facebook page. And then there's going to be homework that I'm going to send out after this live stream. And then we can talk about it on the Facebook page, and you can send your homework to me if you want me to look at it and all that. So if you want to participate in that and you are just joining this live stream out of the blue or whatever, you stumbled across it, then you need to sign up. And so I'm going to see if I can copy this link and put it in the chat. So I'm looking at my other screen. That's what I'm doing here. So let's see if I can actually accomplish this part. Okay. All right. So there's the sign up link if you don't have it. And once you sign up, then you'll get the links to get in the Facebook page and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, you'll get all the handouts and everything. So who am I? I'm Cassandra. I've been reading cards since my 20s. I'm self-taught. I do a lot of parties. I work a regular 9 to 5 job, but I do read tarot on the side, and I do a lot of parties. I do a lot of entertainment, and I've done like parties and events like for things that you would never think they would hire a tarot reader, like Dell Computer, SeaWorld. But so if you're thinking about getting into the business yourself, you would be surprised who would hire you as a tarot reader for events. It's the busy season is like during Christmas. It's like from Thanksgiving through Christmas and even into the New Year sometimes. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also an astrologer, and I'm just a general divination geek. You know, it's like I read playing cards and Lenormand, although not too well, you know, any kind of little divination system I see, you know, I'm just like, oh, I got to check that out. So that's who I and then when you guys signed up for people, I said, you know, what are you hoping to learn? Where are your stumbling blocks? Well, you know, what do you want to know? So a lot of people replied, which I was very happy about. And so what some people were saying is what was giving them trouble is like how to answer specific questions. So I take it to, you know, meaning that it's like a lot of times, you know, you look at cards and you get like a very general sense about something, but you're really not able to go any deeper and get more specific answers to a specific question. So we will be doing readings at the end of every class. You'll be getting a homework assignment, and we're going to be doing readings throughout the whole 6-week class. So you're going to get plenty of practice. Some people were saying, I'm afraid I might be wrong. That's just something you're going to have to learn to kind of get past. You're going to have to get over yourself, and just really the best way around that is to just start talking. That's the best thing, is just keep your mouth moving. And we'll talk about ways to do that as well, how to keep your mouth moving, because chances are something good will come out if you just keep moving. It's when you stop and then you can't get started again. And so we'll talk about getting unstuck if you get stopped in a reading. But really the main thing is you just can't be thinking like I'm wrong. You have to just be thinking, okay, I'm just going to share with this person what I see and what I sense, and just go with it and not be like, oh, that might be wrong. Another comment people gave is they have trouble remembering all the meanings. And so that's what we're going to do next week is we're going to work on getting your own set of keywords that you arrive at through your own intuition so that you don't have to do a lot of memorization. I mean, you will have to kind of memorize some things here and there, but it's like you're going to get a working dictionary, if you will, of keywords that so that you, when you see a card, you already know something and you don't have to like think about somebody else's definition. And if you've ever looked up definitions online or in books, I mean, some of them are like this long, and that's because the cards can apply in so many different situations and so many different contexts. So whoever put that together was trying to cover all the bases, which is helpful. But if you're like trying to memorize all that and then you're on the spot and you're like thinking about the card and you're trying to pull up this list that's this long, you're going to overwhelm yourself. So we're like I said, next week we're going to talk about how to get those keywords going so you don't have to do that at all. Other people talked about letting your intuition flow. So, I mean, we'll have exercises working on intuition just in general. And once again, that's kind of like the getting your mouth moving thing. It's like once you practice it and you do it a lot, then it gets easier. I'll take a sip of water here. Okay, so someone else said trouble bringing multiple cards together. So that's very understandable. So we'll once again, I think with practice, once you kind of get your keywords and your feel for it, then it's like it's kind of like a little puzzle or a little word game or something. You know what I mean? It's like when you do crossword puzzles and it's like, I don't know, 5-letter word that you keep in your kitchen that begins with S. You know what I mean? It's like you're kind of doing that in your head when you're reading and you're looking at multiple cards. You're going, oh, okay, well, like if I had the Queen of Cups together and the 5 of Wands, like what could that possibly that combination mean? Excuse me. How to read the same card in different contexts. Once again, I talked about how on the definitions, they give you a definition like this because that's what they're attempting to do with that. So it's just, like I said, we'll definitely practice this. It's like looking at the card and going, okay, so if this energy shows up in this context, how could it express? If this energy shows up in that context, how could it express? It's just like you may have kids and you know your kids real well. So you're like, okay, I know if I take my kid to the park, he's going to act like this. I know if I take him to church, he's going to act like that. I know if I take him to the doctor, he's going to act like that. So it's still the same kid. You just have him in the different contexts and you know him, so you know how he's going to behave. It's kind of the same thing with the cards. So you get to know them rather than memorize them, if that makes any sense. So that's what we're going to be working on. And then how to read a layout or spread. So that's kind of the same thing. It's because different places in spreads are going to mean certain things, and so that card showing up there is going to mean certain things. So that's what a lot of you are saying. So never fear, we're going to go over all this. So, and then I just wanted to say I can relate because like right now I'm learning Lenormand, and sometimes like I get really frustrated with it because I'm like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Or sometimes it's like I kind of get the gist. Like I get the gist, but I'm like, like somebody was saying something about like specifics. I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I can relate. So I'm going to do the homework along with you. We're all going to do this together. Angela asked, what am I learning Lenormand? If you've ever heard of Lenormand, it's a really cute card system of 36 cards, and they have very simple symbols like this is the man, this is the fish, this is tree. And so then it's like you read them, its combinations are very important in Lenormand. And so like sometimes, like I said, I can kind of I'll kind of get the gist, but I'm like, what in God's green earth does this mean? So I can relate. It's been a long time since I struggled like that with tarot, but I can relate through Lenormand, driving me crazy sometimes. So the class outline, which this would be great if I was screen sharing, you could actually see this, but since I'm not, I'll kind of go over it. I'm planning on this being 6 classes with a 7th kind of hanging out there as an overflow class. So right now we're in class 1, or like I said, I'm really calling it 0. And so we're going to talk about decks, journals, asking questions, and numbers. And then, like I said, every class in the homework, we're going to have reading practice. So you don't have to be like, oh, we're not actually going to like read a spread or anything till class 5 or class 3. Because no, we're going to do it every time. Next week, we're going to talk about crafting your own definitions. The week after that is we're going to talk about the suits, which are wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. And so really, if you have a good grasp of the suits, you can really read, you could read tarot with just the pip cards and not the major arcana. That's the numbers ace through 10, and then the king, queen, knight, and page. You could, if you have a good grasp of the suits, you could just read with only those and not even have the major arcana in there. So we're going to talk about that. And then after that, we're going to talk about the minor arcana and the court cards. Court cards is another one where people are just they get kind of overwhelmed with the court cards. And they're like, who is this? What? Then we'll talk about the major arcana. So we'll have a whole class on the major arcana. And then last week, we're going to talk about go-to spreads. So I think it's best if when you're starting out, if there's only 2 or 3 spreads you need. And you may keep those spreads forever and never do anything else, but you probably will. But if you keep it really simple at the beginning, then you're not going to get overwhelmed and confused. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat and seeing if anybody's saying anything. I don't think so. Okay, so that's the outline. And then I will send out a class schedule. I didn't want to send it out right away because it's probably going to change some. So it's like I didn't want to like send it out and then change it, send it out, change it. So, but I will get the class schedule out to you. So this is the first class. This is a Wednesday, but we're not really going to have class on Wednesday anymore. We're going to have it on Sunday. The reason I had this class on Wednesday is because of the new moon. I wanted to take advantage of the new moon because this is the new moon in Pisces. It's conjunct Neptune. So I thought maybe there could be some spiritual channeling happening tonight. Uranus moved into Taurus today. So that's a big 7-8 year cycle right there. And Mercury's just gone retrograde. So that's why we did the Wednesday. So, but we're going to be doing Sunday evenings, probably like 6:30 or 7:30, something like that on Sunday evenings. So the dates I have is March 6th, March 17th, March 31st, April 14th, April 28th, May 12th, and then May 26th is like a bad weather day, a snow day. So if we need it, we'll use it. If we don't need it, we won't use it. So that is that. Okay, so let me get to what I wanted to go over. And then once again, this would be so awesome if you could actually see my screen and see this. Because then you could, this is the homework that I'll send out to you. I'll send it out probably tomorrow. I probably won't get it till tonight because it's going to be too late, but I'll get it out tomorrow. I'll give a link to this video and then I'll send you the homework. So, and I have the homework. Okay. The homework has several parts, and then it has links to videos because I did little short to help explain the homework. So one here of the homework is we talk about journals, about getting a journal together. So you will need a journal for this class, and you can use whatever you want for a journal. You can use a 3-ring binder. Like I know when I was learning tarot, I had a 3-ring binder, and I had like definitions and notes and all that. And I do 3-ring binder and the hole punch and everything. The nice thing about that is you can use those dividers and divide it all into sections, card by card. If you're not that organized or you don't like that, you can do like a spiral notebook. Like this came from Half Price Books. This is like $5 from Half Price Books. And I like a spiral notebook like this instead of a bound journal. And this is just my preference because this will lay flat. See, those bound journals, they won't. And this hardbacked on both sides, I can put it on my lap on a table. So that, and you can use this, you can get a sketchbook. Sketchbooks are fairly inexpensive, you know, get them from Michael's or whatever. You can use a sketchbook. Then you can also get these sticky divider tab things. Let me try to open this. These, see, this is removable, this tab. It's on there like a sticky note. So you can divide up your journal with the sticky notes if you want to do something like that. Your journal online if you want, or on your computer if you want to. If you use Evernote, if you use Google Notes, anything like that, you can do it that way. You can use a cheap spiral notebook from the dollar store. You can use loose leaf paper, just keep it together somehow with a clip wherever, so you don't have papers all over the place. So that's it for journals. I'm guessing probably most of you are probably a little artistic and creative, like the sketchbook route, but we'll see. It's up to you. Decks, as far as decks go, it's based on the Rider-Waite-Smith, and there has got to be hundreds, so this should not be a problem. And a lot of people told me they have the Rider-Waite-Smiths or the Rider-Waite, so that's fine. I'll just show you a couple decks that you could choose from. This is the Thelema. This is the Thelema Tarot, and so I like it because it's got good people on it, and the people are in action. So this is kind of my recommendation, because on some decks the people are kind of flat, they're kind of two-dimensional, they're not really doing that much, if you know what I mean. So but this is a good, these are good people. Like you can like really relate to these people, or I feel like you can, and you know, they might remind you of people that you know. So that's the Thelema. And then this is the Gaian. And so the Gaian is another one. And this is a very gentle deck. So like if you're reading for other people and they're like kind of freaked out and scared, this does not have any scary images in it at all. And so these were painted by the author. And so, you know, once again, it's like we've got people, they're doing things, they're in modern situations that you can relate to. So that's just kind of my advice with picking a deck. Okay. And like I said, there are videos in the homework so you can get more information. All right, so now let's talk about numbers. So the universe is constructed of numbers. I think we kind of know that now because of computers and binary code, how numbers can construct, how they can construct a reality, or how they can actually construct physical things. Because by putting binary code in a computer, you can have it, you know, create a whole video game with a whole world in it. So numbers underlie the entire universe. Like our whole solar system could blow up and everything can be destroyed and you suck down a black hole or whatever, but there's still going to be numbers. So any good divination system or esoteric system is going to have some kind of numerical base to it. And obviously tarot does, right? They're playing cards plus the major arcana. Like we recognize them, the ace through 10. And then there's the page, knight, queen, king, and you can give those numbers to 11, 12, 13, 14 if you want. And then we have the major arcana that are numbered 0 to 22. So there are numbers there. So just start thinking about how you associate with certain numbers. Like we have a lot of phrases or beliefs or whatever around numbers, like lucky 7. or seven's also often considered to be God's number because there's 7 days in a week, right? You know, and like third time's the charm, or you're a third wheel, right? So just start thinking about those number associations and like what kind of numbers show up around you. You probably know, like, you're kind of not surprised, like when you get a new phone number or something, that it has a bunch of fives in it or something, because you have like fives are around you, or an address. You know what I mean? So you know what numbers are around you. You know what numbers you don't like. You know, when you see a certain number, you just kind of don't like that one. So, you know, that's kind of like that number thing at work in your everyday life. So that's part of my goal with this class, is to get you to like I said, to kind of, a lot of this stuff, it's already around you. You just haven't been paying that close attention to it. So I'm going to try to call your attention to it so you can notice it more, and then that's going to help you read cards. So yeah, so the numbers. So what I'm going to have you do in the homework is you're going to calculate your year card. And so that's, if you're familiar with numerology at all, you know, you'll have like a soul card, and there's a bunch of different cards. So that's basically what it is in tarot too. You can calculate your soul card, and you can calculate your year card. So the way you calculate your year card is you take the day you were born and the month you were born, and you add it to this year, 2019. And then you're going to come up with a 4-digit number. And like, once again, I had a whole spreadsheet. It was so nice to show you all this, but I'm just going to have to explain it. You add the numbers of digits across, and you keep adding until you get to a number between 1 and 22. So you're not going to be able to reduce to 0. So the Fool is 22. Since there's 21 the major arcana goes from 0 to 21. We have to make the Fool 22, because you can't reduce to 0. That makes any sense. So that's how you get your year card. So for example, my day of birth is the 18th of August. So it's 18 plus 8 plus 2019. And if I reduce that, it reduces to 11, which is the Justice card. So that's my year card. So I'm going to have you guys do that in the homework. I'll show you my card. Here it is. So there you go. And in the homework, I also point out that these run in patterns. So you start with your soul card, and then they run in patterns, and the pattern grows the older you get. So it's like, because it's going to repeat and it's going to grow at the same time. So it's like, I'm a soul path 5. So it's like the first time around I got like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it goes back to 1, and then I do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then it goes back to 1, and then I do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it goes back to 1. You'll see it in the homework. So that's something I want you to look at, because that's another part of reading tarot, is seeing patterns. So that's a number pattern that is there. And what you can do is, if you write out all those dates, and you go, okay, I'm in an 8 year. When was the last time I was in an 8 year? Well, it was probably about 9 years ago. And then the time before was another 9 years before. So that was 18 years ago. So you can look at that and you go, okay, like, what kind of things were going on at those time periods? So that's just something to think about. So like when you're reading for somebody else, like if you figure out real quick in your head or something that, oh, they're in a 4 year, you can go, what happened like 9 years ago? And kind of start getting into some patterns, because history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme, is one of the sayings. So it's like a lot of the same themes will come up in that pattern, and that's one of the patterns that it's really easy to figure out and work with. So that's that. That's the year card. And you guys can post that in the Facebook group. And then I'm going to have you pick a teacher card, and that will be at random. The teacher card will be at random. So you'll just take your deck and shuffle it and get your teacher card. And I think I'm gonna do mine right now, because like I said, I'm gonna do everything you guys are gonna do. And I'm gonna do my teacher card. So I'm shuffling. What is my teacher card for this class? And I would use your whole deck and just see what comes up. So all right, my teacher card for this class. It's the Three of Water, which is the Three of Cups. So this card is about having fun, obviously. So I don't know if you know anything about tarot, it is, and then you can just tell from this card, it's about otters having fun. So I'm supposed to have fun. That's my teacher for this class. That's pretty cool. I like that. That makes me happy. Okay, so that's the teacher card. What else do we got? Oh, okay, and then this is the really fun one. This is when it comes to reading, there are different styles. So there's an oracular style. So oracular style to anything, not just tarot, but anything, is like if you want to know the answer to a question and you just open a book and you read a line, or you're walking along the street and you hear somebody say something and it catches your attention. Somehow you know that's the answer to your question. Or you have the kind of reader who just starts talking to you and telling you stuff. That's an oracular style. Or like you are searching on YouTube and then you watch some reading that was from 3 years ago, but somehow it applies to you now. That's an oracular style of reading. It's just it's not relative to the time, but it's relevant in the moment. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick 3 cards at random, and then you are going to write on the back of them. And I have a video that explains this. So let's just pretend okay, I'm picking 3 cards right now. All right, so I picked these 3 cards. I make copies of these 3 cards. So if you have a scanner, you can make copies of them. If you don't have a scanner, you can just if you can find the images online, then you can just download them and print them out. And then if you don't have a printer, well, then just go to the copy store, and it's just going to be 1 copy. You can make one. You can get 3 cards on one sheet of paper. You make the copies. Let me see. My cards should be here somewhere. I had them. I should have pulled them out before class here. Oh yeah, here they are. Okay. So then what you're going to do is you're going to cut them apart into the 3 cards. Okay, so this one happens to be the 9 of Rods. And this is actually one that I've used. So, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of study this card. You're going to kind of look at it, and you're just going to let whatever comes to you. So you could be looking at this guy and you can be like, oh, he looks like he's on an important mission or something. And then you're just going to write a short message on the back of this card, and it could be something like, get ready for your very important mission. Or, for me, I'm very auditory. So I hear a lot of things in my head. So I'll hear song lyrics, or I'll hear phrases, or whatever. So if you get things that way, then you can write a little message on the back of the card like that. Or if you're more kinesthetic and you feel something, it's like oh, I'm feeling very excited or whatever. You can your message can be like, I'm very excited about the future, or whatever. So the example of what I wrote on the back of this card is, "Dear self, look how far you have come. You're almost there. I'm proud of you." So you just write a little note on the back of it. And where's my other ones? I'll show you my other examples. See, then I had the Pentacles, and I wrote, "I've got my mind on my money on my mind." Like I said, it just came to me, song lyrics. And then where's the last one? Last one is Page of Pentacles, and it says, "Speak your truth and stay flat." So if you looked up definitions of the Page of Pentacles, you're probably not going to find anything that's like that at all. But that's what I'm saying. This is an oral reading, so that you can put whatever you want in there. It doesn't. There's no rules. There's no tarot police that are going to come take you away for putting something, quote unquote, wrong on the back of this. So you put whatever you want, and then you put it in an envelope, and you're going to mark it ABC. And then in the homework, this is kind of an ongoing thing. So this is just kind of left like a mystery. Ooh, what are we going to do with this next? Well, if you stay with this class, you'll find out what we're going to do with this next. And there's more instructions in the homework, because I'm going to have you write down some questions that you want answers to, and we're gonna work on that throughout the whole class. So it's like you're going to be working on getting answers to your questions without realizing that you're doing it. So that's that, and that's the kind of fun that's the one that's really fun. I think that's really fun myself, because it's not so serious, and it's not so like, oh, I gotta know this, I gotta figure it out, it's just like you just do it, and then you'll be surprised by the results. Okay, and I think that's about the end. Oh yes, and one thing I want to talk about was questions. So the quality of your reading is going to depend a lot on the quality of your questions. So, so just first off, if you're being a goofball and you're being silly and you're not being serious, or whoever you're reading for is just being very, flippant and frivolous, then you're not going to get good information. That I don't know, that kind of goes without saying, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't. And like I said, I do a lot of readings for people. Once in a while I'll get somebody like that, but for the most part, most people are pretty sincere. But like if they're just being, if they're just playing games, then it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And then if you repeatedly, I think most people know this too, if you repeatedly ask a question trying to get a different answer, also not going to work. Okay, so I just give some little guidelines, and they're all here in the homework. But don't ask yes/no questions unless you're using a yes/no spread. So, and we will talk about yes/no spreads and how to do that. But it's better to have it not be a yes/no question unless you're using that spread. And yes/no questions, you just kind of get a feel for when you need to ask them. But with yes/no, a lot of times you're going to have to drill down, like you're going to have to ask several, because otherwise you're just left hanging. It's like, will I get the job? No. And then it's like, oh, well, I'm bummed out now. I don't feel like I can do anything. So you either have to ask more questions to be like, are there other positions open for me? Can I look other places and stuff? So that's why I said it's better to ask more of a question like, what kind of job opportunities are open for me now? Where should I be looking to apply for a job? What do I need to improve in order to get a job? Like those kind of questions, because that it's a lot easier to answer and move forward than with just like no, oh, or yes, oh, and then you don't have anywhere else to go from there. What else did I say? The best questions are, who, what, where, and how questions. Those are the best interrogative words to use in questioning. When is always tricky. Timing is always tricky. I think most that timing can be pretty tricky. So, but you know, you can go for it. Like when I read for people, I tell people I take it with a grain of salt, but I'll give you a time frame. Why is another one that can kind of like get you in a corner also, because if it's coming from like a victim mentality, like why me, you know what I mean, then you're not being able to give this person options and helping them to move forward. So why is one of those that's, it's like you're gonna have to judge it and try to work with it. But if you're asking just like why, it's like you want to be looking for that path forward or that path opening, instead of focusing on, like, if it's just focusing on the past to rehash the past, that's not the most helpful way to approach a question and being to help some and trying to help somebody. If everyone does the should question, automatic getting rephrased, because what does should mean? Like, should I do that? Should I go for a walk? Should I marry this person? What that doesn't mean anything. That is so subjective, and it's like, according to who? You know, it's like you need to ask questions like, would it be fulfilling for me? Would it help my finances? What is the result if I do X? Those kind of questions, because then it can kind of lay it out, and then that person can be the judge, or if it's you can be the judge of, oh, well, yeah, okay, that would be beneficial, that would be good, or no, I don't think that's really going to get me anywhere. So should is automatic rephrase. I think that's all I had. Yeah, that is all I had. So does anybody have any questions? And I did pretty good. It's less than an hour, so I didn't know if it was going to take like forever. I didn't know. I think it would have been a little longer if I share my screen, which I'll figure out how to do by next time. But does anybody want me to figure out your year card for you while we're here? No. Okay. Well, I think this went okay. I think it went okay. Oh, somebody said yes. Okay, so if you put your birthday in the chat, and I'll figure your year card, and I'll get my calculator up. All right, I got my calculator. All right, so Angela says 8/31/2019. All right, so 8 plus 31 plus 2019. That we get 2058. So that's 7 and 8. 7 plus 8 is 15. All right, so Angela, your year card is 15, which is the devil. So don't freak out. Don't freak out. It's the devil. So the devil card has to do with self-imprisonment. And it also has to do with, like, it can do with an overfocus on the material. So this year is going to be about how to loosen yourself from situations that you have control of that you don't think you have control of. And it's kind of like mastering the material world. So okay, that's for Angela, right? That was Angela. Yes. Okay. And then also hidden within that 15 is a 4, because I mean a 6. Sorry, because 5 and 1 is 6. Guess what card that is? That card is the Lover. So that's kind of your hidden teacher of this whole situation. So this is like, once again, like I said, I get phrases and it says love the one you're with. So within that, learning to control thing, or learning where you have power and control where you think you don't, is kind of like love the one you're with. And the Lovers is also about making choices. So there's this, like, the power of choice as well. So that's a powerful year for you coming up. Okay. Um, okay, so Candace says, oh, okay, she revised it. Candace says 3/01/1990. Okay, so 3 plus 1 plus 1990 is 1994. So 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4 is 23, and that reduces to a 5. So Candace, you are in the Hierophant, or the Pope. It's also known as the Pope. And so this card is about teaching and learning, and it's about, like, where you fit inside, like, hierarchies, like social hierarchies. So it's kind of like where you slot into the system, but really it's about teaching and learning. So you could be going to school, or you could be teaching something this year. So that's something to think about for this. So this is my soul card, is the Hierophant. So nice. Candace is a 5-year. And is there someone else? I did Angela. I did Candace. Do, 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 do. Okay, and then people are asking what numbers they need to plug in. Oh, it's your month and your day of birth, and then this year, 2019. And then, so to get your soul number, you do your month and day of birth and the year you were born. And then what you do is you add them. You just add across until you get a number between 1 and 22. That's how that works. So there you go. Anything else? It seems like the chat is delayed. All right. So Cassandra was doing 2/10/1971. 19. So are you saying your birthday is February 10th, 1971? Because if you are, then you would add all of that to get your soul number, and to get your number, you do 2/10/2019. All right, and Angela's doing a lot to better her life. So it's like the more you know, the more you can handle things. So sometimes news is not great, or it's a little scary, but I mean, I would not, Angela, I would do the patterning in your homework, because I'm sure you've been through a 15-year before. So find out when the last time you went through a 15-year was, and then think about what themes might be replaying again this time around. All right. Well, I think we can call it a night. And like I said, I think this went okay. Next time I'll figure out how to share my screen. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So I am going to sign off, and I will see you. So we're not going to have a class This next Sunday, which is the 10th, it'll be the 17th. It'll be March 17th. And tomorrow I will send out a link to this recording and your homework. And thank you, Candace, for saying it went great. Oh my gosh. So thank you everybody for coming. And then you can comment in the Facebook group, and we can talk more there. So good night.